Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to give you the complete guide to pass the grade 3 A2 test. You must watch this complete video before giving your A2 test, as we're going to talk about everything you need to know about the test, what are the document requirements, what are the language requirements, what preparations do you need to do, what is the test format, how long is the test, everything will be covered in this video. So make sure to stick around till the end. This video is the part 1 for the A2 test. I'm going to make a follow-up video regarding the questions and answers in this test. What type of questions you would be asked and what answers can you give them. Now let's start the video. Let's first see what are we going to talk about in this video. First of all, we're going to see what is the A2 test, what is it for, what are the document requirements, what is the test format, meaning what are the test components, how long does it take and everything like that. What are the language requirements, and lastly, the topics that are chosen for the questions. So let's first start with what is the A2 test. A2 is a grade 3 secure English language test, which is also known as SELT. This test checks your basic English conversation and grammar. It is a very basic test and very easy one. Even if you just know the basic English and you can do simple conversations, you can easily pass this test. It ensures that you can understand and speak the English language in everyday situations. As I said, it's very easy test. It uses simple English and you can easily pass it. It is a speaking and listening only test, meaning there is no writing involved. Now let's see what this test is for. So this test is required for family partner extension or family parent extension. This A2 test is the successor to the A1 test. Now what do I mean by that? When you first come in the UK, using a spouse visa or to meet your parents, you have to give a test named the A1 test, which is also an English test. You have to pass that test, and that test remains valid for about 2.5 years. After 2.5 years, when you want to extend your visa, you have to give this A2 test, which is the successor to the A1 test. This is also an English language test. Passing this test will give you an extra 2.5 years, after which your total duration in the UK would become 5 years. After 5 years, you can easily qualify for the further leave to remain on the 5-year partner or parent route to settlement. That is why this test is compulsory if you want to get further leave to remain in the UK. Now let's see the document requirements for this test. This test requires at least one of the following IDs. Either your passport, your biometric residence permit or BRP, your biometric residence card or BRC, ID card of EEA nationals, or travel documents issued by either United Nations or Red Cross. The easiest one of all of these is your passport. You can simply take your passport, use it to book the test, and also take it with you to the examination center. Candidate must present at least one form of ID. As I said, one of these IDs must be presented and is required. The same ID must be used for all the exam components, meaning you have to show the same ID at any point in the exam if someone asks you for the ID. The ID must be the same as used for online booking. As I said earlier, you have to use the same ID for online booking, and the same ID should be taken to the examination center. Now let's see the test format. It is a 7-minute test and involves a one-to-one conversation with the examiner. As I said before, it is just a speaking and listening test, so it's just a conversation. Provisional result is emailed by 9 AM the day after the test. This means if you're given the test today, then by tomorrow 9 AM, you would be emailed the provisional result. Provisional result means whether you've passed or failed. You'd be informed. The certificate is usually sent within 7 days, meaning you'd have to wait 7 days at least for the certificate. This test, as I said before, is valid for 2.5 years, just like the A1 test. This test is taken at UKVA approved Trinity CELT centers. This is a common misconception. People usually think that the test can be taken at home. It's not. You have to go to a Trinity CELT center to give the test. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, the conversation will be done remotely via video conference on a Trinity College tablet at the center. Now, hear me out here. Due to the COVID-19 restrictions, the conversation cannot be done physically by meeting each other. So it will be done remotely via video conference, but it can't be done on your device. It has to be done on a Trinity College tablet at the center, and you have to show up at the center. The device will be set up by the steward. When you show up at the center and you're ready to take your exam, you enter the exam room. There will be the Trinity College tablet which will be set up by your steward, and then the conversation will begin. Just keep in mind the test cannot be taken at your home. You have to show up at the center. If you are female and your name has changed after marriage and the ID you used still has your old name, then here are the things you need to do. You have to first of all provide your marriage certificate, which must be in English. If it is not in English, then it must be translated, and you would have to show your UK spouse visa, which is within date, meaning which is not expired. But usually when your name has changed, you would update your passport and ID. So it shouldn't be a problem. But still, if it is a problem, here are the things you need to do. Now, let's talk about the language requirements for this test. This test requires very basic knowledge and understanding of English language. The candidate must be able to understand simple questions and requests and respond appropriately. The candidate must be able to use the following language functions and grammar. Here are the basic requirements of language for this test. You must be able to describe date and time, meaning in any sentence, you must be able to describe particular time or particular date. You must be able to give directions and guidance. For example, if the examiner asks you what is the direction to go there or give me the directions to go there, you must be able to do that. You must be able to speak like first you have to turn left, then walk for 2 minutes and then turn right, something like this. Describing activities of people in a picture. This is a particularly important one because this is certainly going to be asked. The examiner shows you some pictures. The pictures involve people doing some activity or a job or anything like that. The examiner then asks you, what activities are these people doing? You have to simply describe what are they doing. For example, if the examiner shows you a nurse who is checking the blood pressure of a patient, you can simply say a nurse is checking the blood pressure of a patient. Or if a taxi driver is driving his taxi, you can simply say the picture has a driver driving his taxi. Asking simple questions. You must be able to ask simple questions. As examiner might say, do you have any questions for me? Even if he doesn't say, you should definitely ask him at least 1 or 2 questions that are just everyday questions. Next up are the grammar requirements, and the candidate must be able to use and understand the following. Present and past tense, meaning the use of present and past tense in sentences. Present tense is just simple present tense, which is I am going, I am eating, whatever. And past tense is when you talk about the past, the time that has already gone. For example, I ate apple, or I went there the other day, or I went there at 7 o'clock in the morning, anything like this. You should be able to use these tenses. Prepositions of time, place, etc. Prepositions of time are at 8 o'clock, in the morning, on Monday, something like this, and place is in front of, across, stuff like that. You must also be able to use can and can't, meaning you should be able to express ability and inability, as can is for ability, meaning I can do this, and can't is for showing inability, which means I cannot do this. You should also be able to use linking words or conjunctions such as and, then, but, because, etc. These are usually used to join 2 sentences into one. For example, you might say I go there in the morning and I have my breakfast. Lastly, we're going to talk about the topics for the conversation. The topics of the conversation include jobs, meaning what type of job do you have, or the examiner might talk about a certain job. Places of study, living, your place of living or your place of study, meaning where you live and where you go for study. Home life, regarding your home life, what do you do when you're home? Do you do household tasks or anything else? Weather, the weather conditions on that day, the other day, the day before that. Free time, meaning what do you do in your free time? The examiner might ask you about that. Date and time. The examiner might ask you about when is Christmas, for example, or what is the date today, what was the date yesterday. Simple questions like this. Ordinal numbers up to 31st for dates, meaning when you're talking about dates, you have to say 25th of December is the day of Christmas. You do not say December 25 is the day of Christmas. It doesn't sound that good. So you should be able to use this 25th, 31st. These are ordinal numbers. You must be able to use these for dates, because the examiner will definitely ask you about some form of a date, whether the date on that day, the date before that day, or the date of Christmas or any other particular event. So that's it. That's the complete guide to passing the grade 3 A2 test. If you still have any questions or you have any confusions, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try my best to answer you as soon as possible. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to give it a like, and also do not forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we post a new video. You can also join our channel membership by clicking the join button right next to the subscribe button. It's a great way to support us. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.